Digimon Beat Break, episode 2. Let's go. Thank you all for saying nice things about me talking about episode 1. I am enjoying this show, so therefore I will keep talking about it because, as we know, I don't stop talking about Digimon shows until I stop liking them, which has been the last couple. Anyways, so yeah, Beat Break, episode 2. We start off literally right where episode 1 stopped. We have a little bit from the other two Tamers' perspective. Are they called Tamers in this? I didn't catch on what they're really called yet. Doesn't matter. We catch on to the other two characters. They are in pursuit of the two hyena Digimon. I don't remember what they're called. I don't think it said what they're called. Doesn't matter. So anyways, they are in pursuit of the Digimon, where they then witness Gekomon eating Tomine, I'm pretty certain is his name. Yeah, so they witness that part where Tomine and Gekomon basically make a deal. Tomine will give him some of his E-Pulse power, and Gekomon goes into action. I liked the fighting in this show. Episode 1, the fighting felt very, fantastical, because we were already showing off champion Digimon and just crazy powers and stuff. What I like about this little fight, and this felt like very true in the fight later in the episode, is when Gekomon fights, it's uniquely different from other Digimon. And I hope that attention to how different Digimon handle scenarios stays. I like that instead of being a whole lot of lasers or big powers, it's a lot of jumping around. It's using the tongue, it's swinging into things. It's really sporadic, and I think that really works for this kind of character and his fighting style. Some of you may think that, well, that should be obvious. Different characters do different things. Well, a lot of times in shows like this, and good shows do it too, a lot of times, the fighting just ultimately amounts to, I punch and I cause big explosion. I would love it if the show can hold on as long as it can before it devolves into that, though a lot of Digimon seasons do kind of do that. But yeah, so then they beat the two hyena Digimon, and then a new monkey-type Digimon shows up, right when the fourth dude, the older dude, who I guess is the leader of the group, shows up, and this thing then takes the E-Pulse of the brother and then runs off with it. And the impression I got is that dude knows who the monkey Digimon is, and that dude knows more than he's telling. We obviously see that a little more, but I bet you he's going to be one of those characters where every few episodes it's like, oh yeah, I knew this. Yep, I know this stuff. I could tell you now, but I won't. So yeah. So the monkey gets away with the brother's E-Pulse. We then skip ahead to the next morning where you get your classic Tomine thinks this was all a dream, only to see Gekomon's lying there all cute and funny. And then we get into what is the main goal of this episode, learning more about the world and explaining shit. We then see he is at the hideout of the rest of the characters, which is again in a really cool, edge of an abandoned highway in the middle of the water. I love how hard they're going on the setting. I think I brought this up last week, but I love we're not just in generic everyday Tokyo-esque town. I like the use of water backgrounds. I like just making every location have a nice little uniqueness like that. But so yeah, Tomine then meets the rest of the squad, where we meet the other three Digimon in their rookie forms. I am glad the guy's partner does turn into a rookie, but what I also like is it does maintain being different and its own thing, which was kind of a thing I was kind of worried about. Either it'll turn also into a cute thing, or it'll stay the big thing, but I think this is a nice little medium balance. But yeah, so from there, we get a whole bunch of explanations. We get this world's explanation of what Digimon are. We're told what our characters are as cleaners. They're basically Digimon bounty hunters. And then we are revealed what is going on with the brother. Tomine thought he was dead, but it turns out no. When the person is iced, or whatever they call it, their consciousness is absorbed through their E-Pulse and then absorbed by the Digimon, and that's what the Digimon feed on. I really dig this. I like how it's a much more sort of sinister take as to what Digimon are. Now, for the most part, Digimon rely very heavily on standard sci-fi type ideas. Digimon are always just little computer creatures who just kind of live in their own little world. They're generated by the internet sometimes. It's more of a mystery other times. but they always sort of stay in that same sort of vein. The only time I really felt like they were kind of like evolving the concept was Appley Monsters. But Appley Monsters, while I personally like Appley Monsters a lot, it felt like it was sort of sticking with the problem of mid-2000s to even just Adventure 2020 Digimon of we need it to be a lot more kiddie. So I guess 2010's Digimon. So yeah, that's what kind of happened there. I think this is a much more interesting kind of sinister idea. They kind of just feed on people's brainwaves, and that's where they come from. I'm sure there'll be more revelations later, but that was really interesting. Though this does get into kind of like my little world building gripe from last week. If it's a known issue that E-Pulse creates Digimon, and that in turn results in the people icing thing, why is everyone still going along with the E-Pulse? At the very least, the general public knows about the icing thing, and it seems to be common knowledge it's related to E-Pulse. So, like, why is everyone just going along with it? Why is everyone doing this? I know this is very common in science fiction like this, but there's a reason I can't stand Black Mirror. But yeah, I'll move on from that. Although, one other thing I will say. Is the girl okay? The girl who spawned this whole thing, is she alright? Because they beat the two hyena Digimon. And the thing is, they were going to get the brothers E-Pulse back, but then the other Digimon took it. So does that mean they got the E-Pulse back to the girl and she's okay? Or is she just sitting there in a coma for all eternity? I loved that bit when we saw her get her E-Pulse stolen, and the mom was just like there and witnessed the whole thing. Such a great little dark scene. I freaking loved it. But yeah, I would kind of hope we get some closure on that. I'm not saying this girl needs to be a main character or anything, but I would at least like to see her at some point that like something was accomplished. But yeah, no. So then Tomone is taken to his brother, where we find out he's still alive, but it's just his consciousness has been taken. Again, if this is a thing that's happening, why is there not more public outcry or concern? But yeah, so they're then like, work with us, Tomone. We'll help you save your brother's E-Pulse. And he's like, fuck that. So he goes back to his place. Geckomon shows up wanting more of his E-Pulse and like, you gave birth to me. And Tomone's like, I fucking hate you, you weird little thing. And then they're attacked by Mushroom Mon. And the three guys who own the Mushroom Mon, who are just these goofy, like, low-life cleaners who are just here to collect the bounty. On the one hand, I felt like the three people were a little too goofy, considering this show is trying to have more of a serious tone. I feel like you can get away with Geckomon being really silly, because he's a weird little internet monster. I think it's a little bit different when so far the pattern has been the humans are very realistic and more serious. To then have really dumb ones show up so quickly, I thought was a little intrusive, but I'd be lying if I was saying they weren't entertaining. But yeah, so then they get beaten, revealing that Tomone has a bounty on his head because he doesn't want to cooperate and become a cleaner. So therefore the government's like, take his Digimon, damn it. But of course, Tomone decides he needs Geckomon's help to help fight and get his brother back. And the episode ends with him joining up with the other three and them having a meal together and Tomone starting to get kind of teary. All in all, I really like this episode. I thought it was very strong. My gripes that I brought up, make no mistake, these are gripes I have with a lot of modern sci-fi. And this sort of assumption that you, the viewer, will just assume all phones and technology is evil and we're all just going to offer our asses up on a plate to them. Rather you think there is truth to that or not, I feel like we need to bring back Ghost in the Shell style world building that kind of explains more how we got to this point. But again, this is a show that mostly exists to sell Digimon product. Let's be honest. So I probably shouldn't get too hyped up over that. And I'm sure I'll get over it as time goes by. Or who knows, maybe they'll go into it more and I'll be impressed. I'm certainly impressed so far. The last little thing I will say is yesterday, Sunday the 12th, I was at New York Comic Con and went to the Digimon panel where the show's producer and Geckomon's voice actress were there. And hearing them talk about how they do want to make a more serious Digimon season with this. They have upped the maturity. They really wanted to take a new angle at things, get a new impression of things. And hearing them talk very passionately about the brand and how they want to evolve it gave me a lot of hope going forward. But yeah, in the comment section below, give me your thoughts about this episode. Do my gripes gripe you? Because they don't have to. It's a me thing. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week for more Digimon goodness.